We're so lucky today to have Megan Keeley, Brandon Keeley, Bert Keeley to be singing a rendition of Pete Seeger's Coyote.
Coyote, what have they done? Little brother, where do you run?
When we talk about wilderness, we forget that we're wild, that our minds are wild. We barely know them. We can't control them. They run us around. They make us do crazy things. There's no difference between us out there and in there. They reflect each other. We're not just here to save coyotes. Coyotes are an apex predator. That means the top of the food chain. And we know that if you lose them, you lose the forests, you lose the clean water, you lose everything. So it's a symbol for a healthy environment. Project Coyote is 360 degrees in every direction, trying to create a cohesive, functioning, sustainable environment. So I want to introduce you to the woman that I'm afraid of. and that's the president of Project Coyote, Camilla Fox. This is Camilla holds a master's in environmental studies from Prescott, Arizona, which if you know that school, that is the center of the radical environmental movement in the United States. She's written a bunch of books. She's written more than 70 publications. She's on the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture's National Wildlife Services Advisory Committee. She got so many awards that I'm not even going to read them. You'll see what she's worth. Please welcome her. Camilla Fox.
We are living in an epoch that some call the sixth extinction. We've been waging war against predators since we stepped foot on this continent. With traps, poisons, and bullets, we slaughtered vast numbers of large carnivores across their historic range. This killing is largely done at the behest of ranchers and agribusiness to make room for livestock. Yet we know that large carnivores, what we call apex or keystone predators, are vital to healthy and resilient ecosystems. Few Americans know of an agency called USDA Wildlife Services that kills more than 100,000 predators each year at taxpayer expense. The methods employed are indiscriminate and cruel: leg hold traps, snares, poison baits, aerial gunning, and what's called denning, the killing of pups in their dens. The collateral damage of unintentional targets, including cats and dogs, threatened and endangered species, is just staggering.
In 2012, Tom Knutson wrote a 4-part series in the Sacramento Bee about the USDA Wildlife Services, for which he won the Albert Schweitzer Medal for Animal Welfare. He's also won a Pulitzer Prize, numerous honors for his series about environmental threats to the Sierra Nevadas. Please, let's give him a big welcome. Tom.
Well, it's great to be here, and let me talk to you a little bit about this agency called Wildlife Services. We know more about the CIA and the NSA today than we do about USDA Wildlife Services. They seem to feel the less the public knows about what they do, the better. And they're mowing down every coyote they can. They're not only killing them indiscriminately with planes and helicopters, they're setting these things out all over the countryside. So whether or not that animal did anything wrong, it's dead. A Wildlife Services trapper named Jamie Olson. Well, here you have his 2 dogs clearly attacking a coyote in a trap. It's just time to lift the veil, to have this agency account for itself.
And we got a guy here, Michael Sutton. He's been the president of California Fish and Game. And he's going to tell you about what we do here and give you some pride in doing things right. Mike?
Yes.
We passed a state law to ban the use of lead ammunition for all hunting within 5 years, just last year. because lead poisons everything else. Just 2 weeks ago, the state of California banned the sale and use of anticoagulant rodenticides, the rat poisons. Because they don't just kill rats and mice and so forth, target. They kill everything that eats those things. And so the secondary effects of these were very, very significant. We banned 3 years ago the sale of shark fins in California because of our concern about we can get things done in California, and as Camilla said earlier, next month we have a Fish and Game Commission meeting in Ventura. I'm privileged to chair the commission at the moment for the next year or so, and we are going to ban predator hunting contests in California. But we can't do it ourselves. We need the help of organizations like Project Coyote. Project Coyote is what I call a high-functioning organization. That means you get a lot of bang for your buck. They're small, but they're dedicated. We need their help to do the right thing.
Here's the hope for the future. He's Project Coyote's first youth outreach advisor, and this is where it's going to take off and go. Grant, come say hello. Tell us what you're doing.
You might think youth activists or youth environmentalists are few and far between with TV, texting, and video games. But I have seen otherwise. I have seen youth that are passionate about getting involved with the environment, that are not content living in a state and living in a country that is, at this point, run by people who are totally fine with destroying the environment for personal gain and entertainment. But at this point, I don't know if the coyotes will be here, if the wolves will be here, if any predators will be here because of trapping, because of the lack of environmental regulations.
I want to introduce you to my friend Bob Crabtree, who is the chief scientist, the head of the Yellowstone Ecological Research Center. He's a guy who knows more about wolves and coyotes and predator-prey relationships than probably anybody in North America. Please welcome Bob Crabtree.
Did you know that the granddaddy of all large carnivore studies was in Yellowstone National Park in the late 1930s? The famous Adolph Murray published The Ecology of the Coyote in the Yellowstone. It was a landmark study that dispelled myths about carnivores, stopped killing our predators in Yellowstone, and started a program that went really nationwide. We eliminated all wolves and mountain lions by 1930. We tried with coyotes, but they flourished. I developed this graphic cartoon with Time magazine in late 1996 when wolves were just being introduced. It's a glimpse of the engine of life, an incredible, complex, multidimensional cultural and biological evolution machine. And what drives this machine is predation, competition, cooperation, and a lot of culture. This is the alpha male coyote greeting its mate for life. She signals quickly to the youngsters, just a slight folding of the ear. The group yippoo, signifying we're here, reinforcing social bonds. We have 5 pups coming down the hill to greet Dad, incredibly dedicated parents. The alpha adults call the pups into the den. And in watching this and here's a female nursing how many pups? Anybody want to count those? 9. The maestro of mousing, the red fox. Fascinating story about ecosystem services. 2 wolves, and what are they doing here? Keeping the elk herd healthy. So their job here is to split the herd, and they're actually evaluating every individual. They're coursing, they're looking. Why? Because they're going to select weak or sick. Decreases disease transmission.
So ultimately, we, Project Coyote, envision a world where human communities coexist with wildlife, where science empowers solutions for resilient carnivore populations, where native carnivores are valued for their critical ecological role and their intrinsic worth, and where compassionate conservation drives wildlife stewardship, and where children understand the value of nature. And I'm going to share with you a clip from a Fish and Game Commission meeting. This was in April in Santa Rosa. This was students from the Fairfax Manor School who came to this hearing to speak passionately in support of a ban on wildlife killing contests.
I'm a 4th grade student at Manor School. When I heard about these coyote killing contests and saw how many they could kill, I was heartbroken. Project Coyote came to our class, and that's when I saw the worst thing I had ever seen in my life. They showed us a whole barn covered in coyote pelts. After that day, I really started to care about coyotes. What did they ever do to us? I'm really starting to get mad. Who do these people think they are?
I care very much about animals and especially coyotes. They are very important to the web of life. They mostly eat rodents, which is very helpful to keep the balance of nature. I do not understand why some people think they have the right to kill these intelligent, important animals. To kill coyotes for a contest makes no sense and is a terrible thing to do.
I want to hear coyotes howl at night. It is a treasure to see a coyote. These animals are very intelligent. I hope you understand how important coyotes are to our world.
The heat-stricken night, the mountains